Hi, Dr. Gillespie. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing really well. Thank you for taking time out today. I did speak to Tim. He says you're very busy with your transition, and I kind of want to just know how's that going for you.
The transitions cause me a little bit of stress. I'm managing more people than I ever have, and I'm just finding it a little bit hard to manage time.
Okay. And when you say more people than you ever have, like at your other jobs, was this like the same amount of people, or like you're just dealing with different type of personalities, and how's that going?
There is a little bit of both. There's
Okay.
a vast difference in amount of people that I'm supervising now than before. It went from 5 people to about 45 people.
Okay. So that's a huge jump, definitely.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a little bit more than I was ever used to, and it's just a lot of information to take in, a lot of raw information.
Okay. And as I was speaking to Tim, he was just letting me know that, with this large group of people, he didn't specify exactly what the needs were that you were looking for. So I was just trying to get a clear understanding of not only the issues, but, how we could possibly help you here at Gartner.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now what we're having a lot of issues with is the time clock, getting the times correct and keeping track of it. Whenever OT comes around, people clocking in and out of their lunch times, not taking their lunch times. We're just trying to find a tool to keep track of all of it and then use it as a reference for the past and future.
Okay, and do you feel like those issues right now has cost you obviously more money than you hoped to spend?
Yes. Whenever people clock out for their lunches and then don't clock back in, we got to pay them for the overtime for the 30 minutes, and now it's causing budgeting issues.
Budgeting issues. Okay, so would you say that is your primary focus right now is saving money? I mean, as anyone wants to, they want to save money, but do you feel like there's other issues that are just as big as that right now, or no?
Mainly, we're worried about cutting costs at the moment and making time management easier.
Okay. And so here at Gartner, and it's most important because as much as I know about you and we have been in contact with one another, Gartner has one of our great attributes about our company is that we have a budgeting tool. And what makes us so different and stand out is the fact that it's an annual budget tool. So we're able to not only keep it, on a frequent basis, but we're doing it per employee. And I know that sounds like a little bit much because you say you're doing 45 plus right now.
Yeah.
However, keeping your, paperwork in line of saying, hey, Dr. Gillespie's doing this and Tim's doing this and that kind of thing. I think at the beginning, it becomes a little bit overpowering. But at the same time, you're able to say, where are we going wrong and how can we fix these issues?
Mm-hmm. Previously, we have attempted using an outside company to keep track of it. However, they were not.
Okay.
They were kind of faking the numbers.
Oh, it's unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah, giving us the runaround when we wanted our actual raw data to make the next month's plan.
Okay.
Do you have any types of guarantees or insurances saying that you will not lose the data, that I can go back to it and reference it?
Okay, well, unfortunately, not everything's a guarantee until we see the end result.
Well, maybe not a guarantee.
A guarantee, right.
I guess that was a rough word. Okay. But just something on paper that you can record keeping.
Okay.
Are y'all known for that?
We are known, and I would say less of a record keeping and more of our testimonials. We have people who come in all the time and other clients, and that just says this is what's worked for us. And I think here at Gartner we're just so honest. And as a company, we sit down and say not what you're doing wrong, but where are the cracks in the sidewalk here. And it's less of like, why aren't you doing this? Why are you spending your money on this? Because we all spend our money differently. Our budgets are totally different depending on the size of our company, what we're specializing in, and where we're trying to go in future. However, it's one of those things where we sit down not only, with our CIOs, but also with other people who aspire to be in that position as well. Mm-hmm. Our biggest focus is training. And if we don't allow the company to know what's going on and just only the people that are, just as important, then I feel like everyone is kind of moving at their own pace when really we should be moving together.
Okay. Now, along with that training thing, I am in charge of a few supervisors who are of the older variety.
Okay.
How easy is your, or a website or your thing able to be used? Because not everyone is technology friendly. Not everyone can read a full manual.
Right. And you would think, as we sit in the IT industry, everybody would be able to click a button and go on about their business. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Here at Gartner, we actually had to transition, which I think was the best thing we could have done, was go from an IT to help desk. And you mentioned that, you're dealing with PTO, a lot of people not clocking in and out off of their lunch breaks. So instead of it, just calling you and saying, hey, we have this issue, because obviously not everyone has that direct contact information, but it allows them to have a portal to go in and say, hey, this is what we should be doing in regarding to like maybe a reminder or so not. But to answer your question, with our staff, we actually have training videos of what is not expected. And here at Gartner, we don't like to say what is expected because everyone learns differently. Everyone approaches a situation differently. However, if we can provide that guideline, why not, be that resource to people rather than just saying, here's a bunch of information, you go learn it, and then come back to us and you mess up. Because we've learned that, especially just with previous clients, that working together has really helped not only our company grow, but our clients' companies grow. Mm-hmm.
So right now what I'm hearing is a lot of short-term cutting costs.
Right.
In the long term, how do you see that you can cut costs for me?
Well, as we've mentioned before, Gartner has worked over 80 countries in 21 industries. And I think that's a very important attribute to say note to, because we are not just working in IT. We've worked in different retail markets. And so understanding that trends change every time. You can have an annual report. It can be different, this year, that year. And then you come around and you're like, well, this is what one report said. And we have so many people in place that pay attention to that. So, and other clients have asked the same questions. How are you going to help us beyond today? How are you going to help us? And that's where I, mentioned earlier that we stay true to the issues from day one. Just because they've been resolved does not mean they can't happen again. And we point out those issues that, say if, like you mentioned, you said about people not clocking in and out. Just because we fix it that time on that budget report or, focus it on that annual report does not mean next time the report comes around, people aren't still clocking in and out on time, I think it is very important that not only we utilize the help desk and also our other resources that come with being in a partnership with us that will only benefit you later on.
Okay. So far, I think it's going very well.
Awesome. Well, now I did want to mention, if I didn't say this earlier, with Gartner, we do have our contract purposes. So how we would do it is, if everything works out well with us and later on with paperwork, hopefully, we do have it where our contracts are, you pay up front. And I know that kind of sounds like, oh, goodness, we don't know what we're getting yet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we've had a lot of people say, how does this work if we're giving you our money up front? But when we sit down and we break down exactly what you're getting within this time of our partnership, you are not expecting anything less than that.
Okay.
Because, and I think shaking the hands, closing the deal is just as important as is letting our clients know this is what you will get out of us. This is what, is expected of us. And we do have a great option where if it was to add on more people of our partnership, you can do that mid-contract. You can add on other people and other resources. And we have it where we also review contracts. So if you're trying to partner with anyone else within our contract time, we sit down and review those contracts with you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one thing that, a lot of companies pull away from is shaking those hands and saying, yes, we can help you, but we can also help you grow elsewhere too. Our market is not the only market out there.
Yeah.
So
you're a contract with some flexibility.
Absolutely.
All right then.
Absolutely. Now we're not saying, breaking in.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
That definitely, and we definitely don't want our relationships to end early on, but things happen. Mm-hmm. However, because we do all, pay up front and we say, hey, this is what you're getting out of us, nothing less and definitely more, so we have so much room for growth. And I think listening to what your needs are and how they match up with Gartner, that, you should even come to the office and just see how we operate as a team before even paperwork is even brought out to the table, in my opinion. I think it's most important that you see how our family dynamic is before you say, hey, this is who we're going to sign and spend millions of dollars with over time.
Those are big decisions, and Absolutely. I would like to do that with you, actually. Awesome. I would love to come into the office sometime.
Perfect. How is next Thursday for you around 3 o'clock?
Thursday around 3, I will make time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Gillespie. I really appreciate your time today.
No problem. Thank you for meeting me today.
Thank you. See you
giving
soon.
me information. See you soon.
Oh, wait, did it lock?
If that did not record